Hello and welcome to City Corner. I'm your host, Todd Blackstock. On today's show, we've got Wendell Covington Jr., the former CEO and president of the Mathews-Dickey Boys and Girls Club, in studio to discuss some of the great programs going on in St. Louis. Plus, we have Lee Ann Mathews, the artistic director for Westport Playhouse, in studio. She's going to join us and tell us about all the exciting programs and shows coming up at Westport Plaza. So stay with us for City Corner, coming up next on STL TV. Our first guest today has been a civic champion in St. Louis for decades. Former CEO and president of the Mathews-Dickey Boys and Girls Club, and most recently with Empower, the organization, and Wendell Covington Jr., thanks for joining us today.
Todd, thank you for having me.
You know, let's talk a little bit, kick it off with Empower. I know that's one of your most recent endeavors, and it's truly a great asset to the St. Louis area.
Absolutely. We were a nonprofit tech company. I was a regional executive director at the time, and we helped young people who were kind of figuring out their career pathway to actually upskill in technology. So we work with young adults between the ages of 18 to 26. We would upskill them in foundational tech skills and then give them work-based learning opportunities through apprenticeships, internships, and then placement in Fortune 500 companies. So many of our participants will start making about $50,000 a year working for major companies like Worldwide Technology, MasterCard, Accenture, to name a few.
It seems really important to get some of the kids in the city involved in tech. Mm-hmm. I mean, the society right now is everything's going tech. Mm-hmm. And sometimes in urban areas, you don't have the access
Absolutely.
To programs like that. So that seems like a fantastic situation to involve young people with.
Absolutely. There's a huge digital divide. People may not have access to hardware, software, and more importantly, training. And so we know that St. Louis is becoming what we call the Silicon Prairie. Mm-hmm. So many tech companies are moving from the Silicon Valley, and we're in dire need of workforce development and technology. So we're expecting about 150,000 new tech positions flooding St. Louis by 2025, 2026. And so again, giving access to underrepresented populations to get upskilled, specifically women and people of color, and to give them a pathway to gainful employment really gives people hope and an opportunity to do something positive.
Yeah, it can even the playing field a lot and offer some great opportunities.
Absolutely.
Now, co-founder of Mathews-Dickey, Martin Mathews, he passed away just like 6 weeks ago.
Yes.
And he was just a tremendous contributor to St. Louis, starting out with the Mathews-Dickey Boys and Girls Club back in the 1960s. What a loss for St. Louis.
Oh, man, and a loss for me personally. Right. I've been in the nonprofit space for about 30 years. I've had some great opportunities to lead initiatives, federally funded initiatives, national replication initiatives. But one of the highlights of my career was to succeed Martin Mathews. I was the second CEO in the history of the organization. He served as CEO for about 60 years. But more importantly, he poured into me, right? He wanted me to be great. He developed me, cultivated me, and taught me best practices, right? And so I'm forever indebted to Martin Mathews for allowing me to learn from him and become his student.
What was it that he instilled into you to give back in the community? Because, you got to see him in action for all those years, and then you got to take his place.
Yeah. Man, there's so many lessons learned. Relationships, right? Not fundraising, but friend raising. Leaving the world better than you found it. He would always articulate the 3 R's: respect, restraint, and responsibility. When you had integrity, he would always talk about, hey, you're in the CIA, you have credibility, integrity, and accountability. And one thing that he would always stress upon me is that, Wendell, they have to buy into you before they buy into what you're selling. So everything you do should be about building partnerships and relationships. and that no one institution can solve many of the challenges that our communities face, that you have to begin to extend the olive branch to organizations and start creating these collective impact partnerships.
Things do change. It started out the Mathews-Dickey Boys Club, I guess surrounded around sports. Now, in recent years, you've added the Mathews-Dickey Boys and Girls Club, so things with that organization have evolved.
Absolutely. Excuse me. It's really about developing the whole person, right? From academic enrichment to athletic development, excuse me, cultural enrichment, and more importantly, access to positive relationships, right? We know many of our young people deal with a myriad of challenges, right? And they all intersect together. Sometimes it's about educational access, multi-generational poverty. It could be about health, equity challenges, and more importantly, those of us who have been successful have had positive mentoring relationships, right? And so we give people, the Boys and Girls Clubs give people access to all of that, right? And more importantly, identify the strengths in young people versus their deficits.
So I understand you're transitioning the St. Louis Community Impact Foundation and leading the way into another organization.
I am truly excited about this new opportunity, the opportunity to leave St. Louis in a better place than we've all found it. We know that St. Louis has so many highs. There's so many great people in St. Louis, so many smart people, so many civically minded people, philanthropic. We're one of the most philanthropic communities in the entire nation. But what I love about this organization is to say, hey, we need to create a bigger impact. We need to begin to play in the sandbox better with other organizations and to begin to build capacity so we can serve St. Louis in a better way.
VP St. Louis has really evolved over the last 10, 20 years, and it's opening up its membership opportunities, becoming, quite diverse. It's a very diverse organization, even right now.
Absolutely.
Opening up programs where you can involve spouses and significant others to help contribute and bring some of the top civic leaders, and not only St. Louis, but the region together to make St. Louis a more diverse and inclusive place to be.
And an impactful, right?
Yes.
So moving beyond episodic, we've done some great work with community-based organizations over the past decade or so. The one thing I love about the VP is that they're saying, hey, this is an opportunity to be better, more impactful, more intentional, and more measurable. And the reality is we have so many great opportunities in here in St. Louis. We have so many smart people, philanthropic in their initiatives and their desires. But the reality is we can do better. We can leave St. Louis in a better place. We can impact public safety. We can impact an opportunity for nonprofit organizations to be better and build their capacity. We can mentor young people in business development. We can surround young people with positive relationships and organizations with positive relationships. And so the idea is that moving beyond feeding a community fish, teaching people to fish, but also how do we help organizations and communities build their own cannery? How can they develop their own wealth? How can organizations be self-sustainable? How do we build agency, right, where people can be self-sustainable, people can be hopeful, and people can make a positive contribution to our community?
It's almost like a sub-organization, within VP St. Louis, because a lot of people know about all the parades and things that take place and Fair St. Louis. This doesn't just happen.
No, it doesn't.
People take it for granted that, you're going to go to the Fair St. Louis every year and you're going to come out there. It's a free event.
That's right.
But it's right there.
That's right.
But nobody realizes how much goes on behind the scenes and how important it is to attract a diverse group of community civic leaders to put this together.
You're exactly right. And additionally, what the VP has been able to do with nonprofit organizations and educational institutions historically, many of the areas that we all take for granted have been contributed to by this great collection of business-minded individuals. And so to have the opportunity to be hired as the new executive director of the Impact Foundation is really proactive that this organization is evolving, that it desires to leave St. Louis in a better place, and helping our community move beyond equality and more towards equity.
You know, I've been going to the fair for years, and I look at the last, 5-10 years, and there's rock and roll, top 40 day, there's country day, and then you have your hip hop, urban day, and last year with the house party, it was so much fun. It's like, every walk of life in the St. Louis community has a day where they can come out, and it's themed after what they enjoy.
You're exactly right, and that's what makes St. Louis, St. Louis. Right, the diversity of ethnicity and class and culture, and to be able to use this as a lightning rod to bring people together, kind of moving beyond these siloed efforts, right, and being more inclusive of all types of people, regardless of their viewpoints.
Now we're going to wrap this up, but before we let you go, I know that you've just come on board, so this is just the tip of the iceberg. If I may, it's a little bit of a tease for what's to come.
That's right.
Before we let you go, what is your vision moving forward with this? And, and what would you say with someone that, that may want to get involved?
Well, we're always looking for resources. We're always looking for partners. Sponsors. We're always looking for thought partners to make sure that we have a successful execution of these wonderful pillars that we've put together. But we'd like to impact systems. We'd like to help nonprofits build capacity. We'd like to impart our great business acumen into the nonprofit space. And more importantly, we'd like to mentor people who haven't had access to great networks like we have in the VP. And more importantly, we like to see St. Louis in a better place than we've ever seen it before. And so, watch us work. We'll be extending the olive branch to many organizations, both civic, corporate, private, as well as higher ed and K-12 organizations. We believe that it's going to take the entire village to make St. Louis what St. Louis can be.
Well, it sounds like this organization is really trying to bring the St. Louis community together, and congratulations on your new title. And thank you for joining us today on City Corner.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Wendell Covington Jr. We're going to take a quick break, but when we return, the artistic director for Westport Playhouse, Miss Lee Ann Mathews, will join us to tell us about some of the great shows coming up at Westport Plaza. Stay with us.
If you smoked, this new lung cancer screening could save your life. Visit SaveByTheScan.org.
Oh, have you seen that piece on the Tiffany neighborhood on STL TV?
No.
Let me show you.
My wife and I were looking for homes. We lived in the city all of her life, and there's just a different energy when you're in the city.
Keep up with what's happening in your neighborhood. Watch STL TV. Be in the know.
It's so sad. It's not. Selfie. Nailed it.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3.
reminder.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
And welcome back to City Corner. I'm your host, Todd Blackstock. In our second segment today, we're honored to have Lee Ann Mathews. Lee Ann is the artistic director at Westport Playhouse in Maryland Heights at Westport Plaza. Lee Ann, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Wow, it's exciting. The Westport Playhouse has been around for many years. It's a wonderful venue. I think it's changed names a couple of times here and there over the years, but it sure is a nice space. It's a quaint, cozy little theater where when you're watching shows there, you're almost like right on top of the actors, and it provides a tremendous experience. Tell us about some of the new things going on with the Playhouse and your role.
Well, thanks. Yeah, so I am the artistic director, and normally what that means is that I sort of curate all the content for what happens at the theater. In this case, it's a little broader than that because our model is we really want to bring a lot of different types of entertainment into the Playhouse. So we have live music concerts, we have magic shows, we have circus acts, we have plays, musicals, comedies, film festivals. We've really tried to create this entertainment space that sort of offers the community many different choices as far as their entertainment dollar, because we know how important it is to serve our community in a really broad way. And so, not Broadway.
Not off Broadway.
Right. We are off Broadway. We're very off, but we are really working toward just having something for everyone.
Well, it's nice to be able to utilize the space and more than just having a play. Having different type of events there is a great way to push more people to Westport Plaza, and it's more exciting to have alternative type of programs to go see.
Yeah, and we've done a lot of upgrades. So recently, two gentlemen took over sort of the stewardship of the Playhouse, if you will, and their names are Lenny Mink and Dan Byington. And what they did were a lot of technical upgrades to the theater space itself. And one of the big upgrades we did is a huge 30-foot wide, 10-foot tall LED screen that covers the entire back wall of the stage. And this has opened us up to lots of different entertainment opportunities. And not only does it, open us up to things like we did sing-along movies last year and lots of film festivals and film screenings, concerts, musicians can now use the screen as this wonderful backdrop to their music. And theatrically, we have used it in storytelling. And we did a play for Christmas called The 12 Dates of Christmas, where Peter and Marjorie Spack designed this beautiful, ever-changing landscape of New York City in this very illustrative, beautiful way. So we've really been able to utilize that intimacy in a impactful way.
The other thing I like about it is that you can have like a reception and a cocktail beverage snack hour before they're leading it up to loosen everybody up and get them in a jovial mood.
Yes, we have sort of been known for being very jovial friendly.
Yeah.
How about that?
Sure.
Yeah, we have a nice bar outside of the theater. You can bring your drinks inside. We really want it to be entertainment for everyone. And nothing that you feel like you have to put on a tie or dress to go experience.
Now, you've been an actress for many, many years, and you participated in many of the shows back over the years. I think Menopause and Musical is one of them.
Yep.
Can you maybe share with us some of the other shows that you've been involved with as an actress?
As an actress, yes. Menopause the Musical, of course, is the big one that had many different revivals. And I think we did over 700 performances of that show on that stage. Yeah. I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change.
Yeah.
Another one. We've done a couple of shows from the franchise, The Church Basement Ladies. and I was in those. And then I was a director. I kind of moved from actor to director and directed Avenue Q at the Playhouse, and that was a huge hit in 2019. And now I've moved into an even further kind of leadership position with this artistic directorship.
Now you're young. Now it seems like you've taken over the artistic directorship. Do you plan on doing acting as well, or do you kind of enjoy your new role as the artistic director?
I love acting. I love it.
Can never get out of your blood.
I don't think it will ever get out of my blood completely, no. But right now, this is a big job, and the way we are doing things with all of these, like so much versatile entertainment, it takes a lot of my energy. And I appreciate the young comment, but I need to save my energy for that right now.
So you're focusing on the artistic part right now.
Yeah.
And we've got some great shows coming up. I know there's one coming up around Valentine's Day. It's very exciting and a great opportunity to get out and about and spend some time with your honey and see a good show.
This is going to be a really great date night. It's called Songs in the Key of Love.
Not life.
Not life, love. And it's starring Ileana Curvin and Horace Smith, and they are a cabaret singing duo. They have a live band. It's going to be a very romantic love story using hits from the 60s, the 70s. They do a lot of great pop music and Motown, a little bit of Broadway. It's romantic, it's funny, it's heartwarming. It's kind of all those things. And, Westport Plaza is a great way to have a date night. There are so many great restaurants there. Go have some lovely dinner and then enjoy a show. And then if you want to keep the evening going, go hear some live music at one of the venues at Westport. There's so much to do now.
So what dates? I think, is it Valentine's Day? Is that the premiere?
That is the premiere, yeah. So it's 3 nights only.
Oh, just 3 nights?
Yes.
Because a lot of times they go for a couple of weeks.
Right. No, this one is just 3 nights. It's February 14th, 16th, and 17th.
Okay, can people order tickets online?
Yep.
Or can they just come up to the box office?
Either way. Getting them online is probably a safer bet.
Safer bet these days. Yeah, that way you guarantee a ticket.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving forward, I know there's several other productions in the works right now that are going to be presented at the Westport Playhouse. If you'd like to share those with us.
Sure. So, last year we had a group of local magicians put together a wonderful show called Disbelief, A Night of Laughter and Wonder. And it was a big hit. So we're bringing that back. That's going to be on March 11th, I believe.
Okay.
And so that's a 1 night only, but they are so great that I suspect they will probably do another one in the fall. That show is great. After that, we are bringing back, by popular demand, Popovich's Comedy Pet Theater. And this guy is out of Vegas. People may have seen him on America's Got Talent. He is a circus performer, but he trains rescue animals. And his entire show it's just absolutely amazing. He's got about 35 animals that he brings on tour with him that he has rescued from shelters and has trained to be show puppies and show kitties.
It's like a mini circus, huh?
Yeah.
No elephants and tigers, though.
I was astounded. They came rolling into Westport, and as you said, it's a tiny space. And they put their set up, and they unpacked all these animals, and they just did their show, and it was a huge success. So we're really excited to have them
back. And the dates on that one?
April 8th and 9th.
Okay. Any other shows at the moment that are in the works?
Sure. Yeah. So one thing I'm excited about. We've been doing a lot of live concerts and interesting kind of musical offerings, and one of them is going to be the Global Beats Bazaar, and this is on March 4th. And it features the music of Final Veil, and they're a world music band, and then they are bringing in dancers. They are bringing in all sorts of flamenco, Ukrainian, Indian, just dance from around the world, so belly dancing. It's going to be a really cool extravaganza.
Wow, that sounds a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Westport was always such a great entertainment venue. Back in the 70s and 80s and the 90s, I remember when the Rams came here, all the players would go up to Patrick's, and, Deardorff and Hart's was an anchor. Paul Menio's and Nino's, Casa Gallardo, America's Pub, Wilbur and Gill. I can just go on and on and on and on. But things, after time, it ages, it gets a little old. Other districts open up and people kind of move and things shift around. And it seems like major renovations are going on right now with Westport Plaza to bring it back. I know on the heels of Union Station, some of the same groups that put in, helped renovate Union Station are now working on Westport to maybe fill out that corridor right there at Page and 270 in the Maryland Heights area near the airport. So it seems like a wonderful thing. And I know there's a few big businesses coming to Westport.
Yeah, it's an exciting time at Westport for sure. So of course the big news was that Rawlings is moving in. And I mean, they're a gigantic company. And what's really exciting is they are putting together an entire baseball, almost like a museum experience right there where America's Pub used to be, right across from our Playhouse.
Oh, perfect.
We are so excited to have them as neighbors. And I can't give too much away, but we really plan at the Playhouse to sort of be a part of that celebration and you put some content in the theater that sort of reflects the changes that Westport is going through as a plaza.
And there was always a Chinese restaurant on top, or the Japanese restaurant. It's going to be turned into another restaurant on top, overlooking the whole area.
Yeah, 360.
360, you know it from downtown St. Louis, overlooking the ballpark. They're going to do another one at Westport Plaza on top of the Gold Tower.
Yeah.
There's going to be a soda fountain shop going in. I understand apartments and possible housing, but they're going to have to break some ground there and. What do they say? You got to crack a few eggs before you make an omelet?
Right, exactly. Yeah, well, we're working on that. We're all working on that. I think that in a few years, you're going to see that resurgence of Westport. You're going to see that renaissance.
Yes.
And it'll be not only back to where it was, but in a whole new place.
You got Westport Worldwide Technology right there and the Westport Social. So, it seems like exciting times at Westport Plaza. So before we let you go, any final thoughts? And can you give us, maybe some contact information for people that want tickets and, want to see some shows?
Definitely. I think the most important thing we want to communicate to our audiences is that there's something for everyone and we're adding things all the time. So come to our website, www.westportplay.com, and check it regularly because we are adding things all the time. Our goal is ambitious, but we would like something in there every night, sometimes 2 or 3 shows a day if we can make it happen.
Oh, that'd be great to bring Westport back to its glory days.
Yep.
All right, well, thank you, Lee Ann Mathews, Artistic Director for Westport Playhouse, for joining us here on City Corner today. And we'd also like to thank Wendell Covington Jr. for joining us, and we'd like to thank you for watching City Corner on STL TV Experience St. Louis.